Enoch was resting upon his bed when sleep had taken hold of him, and the quiet night surrounded his dwelling. Suddenly, two extraordinary beings appeared beside him. They were unlike any human he had ever seen. Their faces shone like the sun at its zenith, and their eyes burned like flaming lamps. From their mouths came a breath like fire, and their garments shimmered with patterns resembling wings made of pure light. Upon their arms were golden feathers, and the glow around them lit the edge of Enoch's bed. They spoke softly, yet their voices carried a strength that made the air tremble. "Enoch, Enoch," they called, and when he awoke in startled wonder, they said, "Be of good cheer and do not fear, for the eternal God has sent us to you. Today you will journey with us into the heavens." They lifted him upon their wings, and together they ascended through the clouds, beyond the realm of the wind, into the circle of the firmament, until they reached the first heaven. There, Enoch beheld visions of both the divine order and the history of the fall of the angels. In the days when mankind began to multiply and daughters were born whose beauty filled the earth, the angels of heaven saw them and were moved with desire. They said to one another, "Come, let us choose wives from among the daughters of men and beget children with them." Their leader, Semjaza, hesitated and said, "I fear you will not all be steadfast in this matter, and I alone shall bear the punishment of a great sin." But they answered him, "Let us all swear an oath and bind ourselves by mutual agreement, so that none may turn back from this plan." And they swore together and bound themselves to this decision. They were 200 in number, and in the days of Jared they descended to the earth, landing upon the summit of Mount Hermon, so called because they had bound themselves there by oath. Among their chiefs were Semjaza, Arakiba, Ramiel, Kokabeel, Tamiel, Daniel, Ezechiel, Barakijel, Asael, Armaros, Baterel, Ananel, Zachiel, Shemziel, Satariel, Turiel, Jomiel, and Sariel, each ruling over 10 others. They took wives from among human women and defiled themselves with them. They taught them enchantments, charms, the cutting of roots, and the knowledge of plants forbidden to men. The women conceived and bore giants, Nephilim, whose stature reached heights beyond imagination. These giants consumed the toil of men until mankind could no longer sustain them, and then they turned to devour men themselves. They devoured birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, even drinking their blood and eating their own kind. The earth cried out because of them. Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, and armor. He revealed to them the working of metals, the art of bracelets, ornaments, the use of antimony for painting the eyes, the beautifying of the eyelids, and the costly stones and dyes that would inflame lust. Semjaza taught enchantments and root cuttings. Armaros taught the undoing of enchantments. Barakijel taught astrology. Kokabeel taught the constellations. Ezechiel taught the knowledge of clouds. Arakiel taught the signs of the earth. Shemziel taught the signs of the sun. And Sariel taught the course of the moon. Through these teachings, wickedness spread across the earth, and every place became filled with blood and corruption. When Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven, their hearts were grieved at the state of the world. They saw the rivers of blood, the cries of the oppressed, and the shadow of sin covering every land. They spoke to one another, saying, "The earth, which was once pure and filled with peace, now trembles beneath the cries of the victims." Their pleas have reached the very gates of heaven. And they prayed to the Lord, saying, "O Lord of lords, King of kings, God of gods, you are the creator of all things, and nothing is hidden from your sight. You see what Azazel has done, how he has led the world into darkness, revealing secrets that were meant for the heavens alone. You see what Semjaza and his companions have done, taking wives from the daughters of men, producing giants, and filling the earth with violence and sin. Now the souls of the dead cry out for justice, their voices rising without ceasing." Then the Most High spoke and commanded Uriel, "Go to Noah and tell him in my name to hide himself, for the earth shall be destroyed by a great flood, and a new generation shall arise." To Raphael he said, "Bind Azazel hand and foot, cast him into the darkness of the wilderness of Dudale, and cover him with jagged stones so that he shall remain there until the great day of judgment." To Gabriel he said, "Go forth against the bastards and reprobates, the children of fornication, and destroy the children of the watchers from among men, let them destroy one another in battle, that none may be left alive. To Michael he said, bind Semjaza and his fellow watchers, who have united with women, and cast them under the hills of the earth for 70 generations, until the day of their judgment, when they will be cast into the abyss of fire. And the Lord declared, the earth shall be cleansed from all corruption. Truth and righteousness shall return, and a blessing shall rest upon the land. The vine shall bear fruit in abundance, the olive shall yield its oil in plenty, and all the earth shall be filled with peace. Enoch was then sent with a message to the fallen angels. He came to them as they wept and pleaded for mercy. They asked him to write a petition on their behalf so that their prayer might be heard in heaven. Enoch wrote their petition and read it aloud by the waters of Dan, but as he slept, a vision came to him. In his dream, he was told that their request had been rejected. Their doom was sealed. They would remain bound in the depths of the earth, and their children would perish before their eyes. Enoch returned to the watchers and said, no peace shall be granted to you. Your petition has not been heard, nor will it ever be heard. You shall not ascend again into heaven, but shall remain bound to the earth for all eternity. You will see the destruction of your sons and will weep for them, but your sorrow will not be comforted. After this, Enoch was taken on another heavenly journey. He saw a wall of crystal, encircled by tongues of living fire. Beyond the wall stood a great house built entirely of crystal, whose walls were of fire and whose floor shone like the stars. Within was another house, greater still, from which a river of fire flowed. At the far end stood a throne of glory, high and majestic, its appearance like sapphire, and upon it sat the great glory, whose robe was whiter than snow and whose face shone brighter than the sun. No angel could approach or gaze upon him. The Lord spoke to Enoch and said, say to the watchers who sent you to plead for them, you were meant to intercede for men, not men for you. You have abandoned your high, holy place and defiled yourselves with women. You have begotten giants, from whose bodies proceed evil spirits that will afflict mankind until the day of the great judgment. You have revealed to men the secrets of heaven, and in doing so, you have filled the earth with sin. Therefore, you shall have no peace, neither on earth nor in heaven. The Lord then showed Enoch the hidden places of creation, the mountains of precious stone, the storehouses of the winds, the paths of the sun and moon, the courses of the stars, the chambers of the clouds, and the boundaries where light and darkness meet. He was shown the places
of punishment for the wicked, where fire and ice are mingled, and the place of rest for the righteous, where life flows without end. Finally, Enoch was returned to the earth with the charge to warn both angels and men that the day of justice draws near. On that day, the watchers will be cast into the abyss, their children will be destroyed, and the evil spirits will be bound. The earth will be purified, peace will flourish, and the kingdom of God will reign forever and ever.